But you got to talk about sex, don't you? If you can't talk about it there, where can you talk about it?
Probably a lot of other places, but
The internet, Reddit, probably Reddit.
I love
We'd
Reddit.
do anything on Reddit.
That's where I find a lot of my.
What, a lot of what? What you talking about over there? You're talking about sex. You're talking about looking it up on Reddit
No.
last week. Because that means you were listening. You were using the old noggin. Some people play checkers. You can play chess. And you can think 3 moves ahead and be like, hey, I'm going to remember this, drunk housewife who needs extra Z's or something like that. Like you're
Sounds way better
you're
than
4
cancer,
deep
though.
by 11. It's not that. What's the last question?
Absolutely. The last one that we threw in there, and this one you got to be a little bit careful with because it can feel like shots fired at first.
That's right. I don't even know if you should do this question.
Oh,
and you give it a week.
You are the best thing that's ever happened to me.
These questions can actually change your marriage. Do you think they can?
I think speaking from experience, I know they can.
That's right. That's right. We started to use these questions back when our marriage was in a bit of a lull. Erica didn't feel connected. I'm fairly emotionally unavailable.
You were.
In the worst ways.
You were. That's not true so much anymore.
But at the time, these questions really pulled us out of a pit, out of the doldrums. And it's interesting, if you would have asked me at the time, I would have said, oh, our marriage is fine. Why do we need to do these questions? But seeing the levels of intimacy.
That's literally what he said.
Oh, all the time. All the time. What is the first question?
The first question is, how was your week?
What a great one. What makes that a great question?
It's just a recap. If you don't know what went on in the other person's circle, let's say you work at 2 different places, which is most common, or one of you works and one stays home and works, that's also common. Yep. You don't always get a play-by-play, so this is a recap.
Yeah, and it's really just kind of like laying the foundation for everything else. Because it's hard to get anywhere without just, if you can't even get to how was your week, you're in trouble. You're just, because it's the foundations. Like it's, hey, I had this meeting this week. Man, this person at work really ticking me off. Oh, these kids, they got their games. They got this. I'm coaching this. And you just got to walk through all the different things that you're doing in a week in order to have a foundation to go anywhere else.
Right. And if you are a stay-at-home mom, which I was once we started having kids, right?
You needed it.
I needed it because there was
kids all day.
There was a lot going on that he probably wasn't aware of.
Yep.
Because he's at work all day, and I wanted him to know about the day-to-day.
Yeah. What's the second one?
The second one is, what do you have coming up this week?
What's going on this upcoming week, and why is that a good one?
And that's a good one because it lets you know the big things that may be important to your significant other that you should highlight, that you could pray for.
Husbands, let me just pause you there. Husbands, if you want a bonus, you see how these kind of play off each other? Like if you can, before she even says, if you say, how was your week? You say, hey, how did this go last week? Because that means you were listening. You were using the old noggin. Some people play checkers. You can play chess. And you can think 3 moves ahead and be like, hey, I'm going to remember this, what she said, that this was a doctor's appointment of this that was happening this week that she's a little nervous about. Instead of saying, how was your week? Say, hey, how did this go? You just got yourself right into question 3.
Although
what is question 3?
Okay, but I hope if I had a doctor's appointment that I was a little nervous about, you'd ask before Sunday questions.
Yeah, you're right. Probably ask that the day of.
But question 3 is, how did I love you well this week?
Oh, well, then I was thinking about question 4.
Oh.
Which is, how can, what is a way that we can be intimate this week? What's a way that you can have a little bit extra love? What's a way that you need to be loved this week in that special bomb chicka wow wow way?
No.
Yes.
Okay. That might be for
That's
husbands
more.
or
That's
some
more.
wives.
That's more. But go back to 3. Go back to 3. We can
Okay.
rewind it. What was
Okay.
3?
Okay. Question 3 is, how did I love you well this week?
That's right. So oftentimes, like if Erica even just like, I mean, we know in marriage, it's those simple things. Like if you wake up in the morning and somebody made your lunch for you, over the moon, over the
Yeah.
moon. And when she would make my lunch, or when she would just do something small that just again showed, I love you, I care for you. Those were special things, and I remember that those were the kinds of things that I would share. What kind of things would you share?
For me, it was.
Hey, I got a question.
Sure.
How have I loved you this past week? I'm gonna do a question right now.
Well, Eric lets me sleep in, and we have a lot of kids in our home. And
Now, I don't want people thinking you're Miss Lazy Bones over here. You're sleeping in because you've been through the ringer between
yes,
chemo, surgery, trying
yes,
to recover from cancer. So the sleeping in is not just like some, you know, drunk housewife who needs extra Z's or something like that. Like
sounds way better
you're
than
4
cancer,
deep
though.
by 11. It's not that kind of needing to rest. It's she's recovering from the levels of toxicity that were in her body, and so she needs the extra rest.
Yes. So sometimes that's till 10. Sometimes that's till 11. Sometimes I wake up at 11 and I go back to sleep at 2. So that helps me feel very loved.
Yeah, and I'm glad to do it.
Thank you.
4.
How would you like me to show intimacy to you this week?
In marriage, you got to talk about sex, don't you? If you can't talk about it there, where can you talk about it?
Probably a lot of other places, but
The internet, Reddit, probably Reddit.
I love
We'd
Reddit.
do anything on Reddit.
That's where I find a lot of my
A lot of what? What you talking about over there? You talking about sex? You talking about looking it up on Reddit?
No. But I do love Reddit. But intimacy can look like a lot of things, not just sex, right? So for me, sometimes it would be just check in. Just text me throughout your workday.
Yeah, that was huge because again, you to help you know that I was thinking about you, or even just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Sometimes you'd be like, I need a gift this week, or you'd be like, I need a handwritten note. Those were tough weeks. It's like, all right, I gotta step my game up this week. Gotta make sure.
I don't know if I got those handwritten notes, but
You requested them.
I did request
You
them.
said I need a note. Yeah.
But the next question is, how can I pray for you
Yes,
this week?
that's a big one. The biggest, honestly. Keeps the priority straight, keeps the thing that should be centered.
Yes.
Reminds us to go before the Lord and go before the Lord together, taking our cares, our concerns, our anxieties before the Lord. It gets you in the habit of praying at least once a week, outside of just like normal dinner or whatever. But gets couples in the practice of praying together, because if we're not intentional about it, I mean, heaven knows we're not,
Doesn't happen.
it doesn't happen. What's the last question?
Absolutely. The last one that we threw in there, and this one you got to be a little bit careful with, because it can feel like shots fired at first.
That's right. I don't even know if you should do this question.
Oh,
you give it a week or two.
We're gonna do this question. Oh,
I'm saying
mean
if you're like not
just
used to
starting
doing
out.
Sunday questions, like you should not maybe hop in with this one, because somebody might feel attacked. They might be like, this is just a setup. You're just trying to get me to question 6. Question 6. And question 6 is, I'll share it.
It takes a dose of humility to be able to receive this question.
Because you're asking, how have I offended you this week? And this could be like one of them questions that you get and you think, man, you just asked me that because you want me to ask you it back. You're trying to get something out of me here.
In a gentler way that you can phrase it, perhaps, and which is what we did, is how did I make you feel unloved or unseen or unheard this week?
That's right. Or how could I have done it better, right?
Right.
There's a few different ways to word it in a way that will make it feel, easier to swallow.
And I think the big thing is it opens the communication to say, hey, I asked you 5 other questions that helped me better communicate, better care for you. And this last question is going to help me do that even better.
That's right.
Right? Because, Eric, how did I make you feel unloved or unheard or unseen this week?
Oh, babe. Well, I mean, there's been ways but you always came through in the end. So it's hard to say that it's that.
Eric never answers this question. It's always, I never did
I got
anything.
one though.
Or,
I got one though today. That's what I'm trying to get
you
to.
wait till we're
I am beating around the bush, but I do got
live.
one.
Okay.
So, we've been trying to build this YouTube channel, this business.
Yes.
I've been like, hey, girl, come on, let's get in. Let's
That's
get
true.
into the studio. Let's get in. And she's always got an excuse of something, of this. Oh, we got all these kids. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, just excuses.
In that exact voice, too.
It's probably closer than you think. But she always comes through in the end. So it's hard